Hello everybody, my name is Troublemaker. It's Friday, and on Friday I play or show two war game matches that I'm relatively impressed with to do some tactical analysis, and we'll be doing a little bit of showcasting. I had one match previous to this. It was between FIFA 55 and an unknown player. If you haven't watched it yet, definitely worth watching. It has a very distinct take on a very popular map, and this one will be a match between Dirty D. Dirty is a marshal. I believe he's also a moderator of the forums. He's a big member of the community. He's the leader of the WTF clan, which is, I'm not sure if it's the most winningest clan or the second most winningest. It's one of the top teams in the team league though, so it does very well. And his opponent is random. Yeah, just a guy named Random, not a random opponent. Although it is quite random that this guy is playing Dirty D. Basically, from what I gather, Dirty D is going to be handing out some beta passes for people who play him and I guess beat him. I don't know. It's kind of a mean challenge because Dirty D is one of the top players in the game. He was top 66 in the Wargame Cup, and he just really crushed a lot of opponents. He got kicked out. I can't remember who kicked him out. I'm not sure if it was Rebar or FIFA kicked him out, but it was a top player who kicked him out. He didn't lose. He didn't get scrubbed out. He actually lost to a very talented player, and so this Dirty D is definitely a guy who's worth watching. He is experimenting with a lot of tactics here, and this unit makeup that he's even using is kind of weird. Martyr ones are basically like your campaign stars. They have a fairly high reinforcement number compared to most of these martyr vehicles, and so in the campaign they're like my bread and butter, but in the actual game very few people actually choose to use these. He's also got the Martyr VTS-1, which is your tank destroyer prototype, and it's one of these units from NATO that pays out so much that you always should have it in your deck, and you should always deploy it immediately. He's also got the Martyr Roland 2 just for anti-aircraft units. Lots of Wessel MK20s. These are your autocannon anti-infantry vehicles. And 6 Gazelles, just a little bit of an odd selection. Usually you'll get 4. 4 is just enough to destroy something, and just enough to cause your opponent to either move their anti-aircraft vehicles forward so you can snipe them with your tanks, or get anti-aircraft vehicles and have to spend more. Going to go with these AML Lynx prototype, just tank destroyers as an extra supplementary, and some more infantry, and only the one command number. The fact that he has one command number indicates to us immediately this is an all-in. His opponent's random, going for a different variety of tanks. He's going for some of these transport helicopters with a recon, not quite as many as his opponent, but an effective number, I should say. Lots of infantry carriers spread out pretty effectively. Afghanskis are your anti-infantry unit, also going to be very good against infantry vehicles, and one command number as well. Oh, and he's got two TO-55 Flame PZ flamethrower tanks, which are very practical against anti-infantry. So basically both players have covered all-ins. We have, well, that's a weird choice. He's actually decided to go with some anti-aircraft vehicles in transport helicopters. Absolutely weird. We'll have to see what both players are doing as far as tactics goes. The interesting thing from Random is that he has these BMP 685s and these T-80Us, and that both players are going for all-ins, basically. The BMPs are interesting because they're a cavalry tank. They're going to be quite expensive. They don't have a significant payout rate on them, per se, and it becomes very hard to defend all-ins when a lot of your units are quite expensive. So here comes the transport helicopters from Dirty D. Not transport, gunship, I'm sorry. And he's just using these for an initial scout. Has them nice and spread out. This way anti-aircraft fire will not burst them down. But here comes the gunship helicopters and the transport helicopters rushing forward. He realizes there has to be precious cargo in here, so he's targeting them down. He's willing to risk. He doesn't want any of these guys getting entrenched. It is absolutely, if you're doing it all in, imperative that you gun down these things if you're going for an all-in. If you're not going for an all-in, you shouldn't care. But knocking down 2 of these things will be huge. Now, Random does immediately deploy early, not allowing the other one to get gunned down as the first one did. And so here comes the all-in. There will be one VPZU possibly in position. MD Jupiter is oddly enough leading the charge for Dirty D. He's got to put those in a stop position because what he wants these supply trucks for is to heal and regenerate fuel and ammunition while this fight is going on, specifically with these big giant waste MK20s leading the charge here. Insanely high range on their fire. The flame is rolling up. Will it get a good shot of flamethrower off though? Keep in mind, little known fact, TO-55s are actual tanks. They actually have tank ammunition. And here we go, flamethrower, dual flamethrowers on the fire position command on this location. You're trying to get some key stuns, and he does. And so Random is off to an early lead, 120 points, but the all-in is not over just yet. No, not for Dirty D. All his forces are fairly clumped together, and the flamethrower tanks are doing much better than they should. Just absolutely melting a lot of these infantry vehicles. But finally, the flamethrower tank, which has been causing so much trouble, it goes down. Here we go, infantry coming up. The BMP 6085s are in a bad position right now, as everything is just going to kind of streamline in, and the Chasseurs are dumped on top of the 685. The 685's got to pull back very quickly, but it doesn't. It just doesn't. The T80U is pulled back. The 685 will all go down hugely for Dirty D now, as more infantry are going to rush forward. AML 90 Lynx going to be routed right now, but that doesn't matter. There's so many forces here with the Modular VTS-1 crushing damage. The T80U gets pulled back. You can't lose these expensive tanks. He knows this. He's pulled it back to the woods, and he's going to try and get off one more round of shots before he pulls it back again. And ooh, he takes a pretty sizable hit. With these tanks, losing 1 hit point on it becomes kind of a serious deal, just because of how expensive they become. They're designed to be hard to kill, but you don't want them taking damage. And really, this is a big mismatch for Random. He has a lot of these anti-aircraft infantry, not the unit of choice right now. He really needs vehicles. He's pumping out, looks like, some more transport helicopters and another flamethrower tank. This is, I guess, going to be his defensive style. He's hoping that his opponent continues to do this blob strategy so that this combination units will be more effective. Units are just going to continue running by, though. BTR-65 finally going to take some damage. Looks like some of these tank destroyers, these Martyr VTS-1s, and the VABs are going to continue as well, moving on by this BTR-65. The tank destroyers behind it will take care of it. There's a Prizik Igla on the field right now, but it is kind of out of position right now. He's just going to use Prizik Igla a little bit to try and deal with these VABs, try to slow them down as much as possible. And here comes some transport helicopter here from Random. He's a lot behind right now, and he needs to micro these absolutely perfectly. Perfect rockets, hitting the Martyr Roll into, that's the key target, but the VABs are in range now and able to fire on them. In fact, they've taken 2 hit points of damage, but we have a flamethrower tank coming in to try and clean things up. All the while, Afghansky's hitting from the side, trying to do some morale damage to the VABs. 1 transport helicopter is down. The flamethrower tank does begin, but the Martyr VTS-1 has hit range and will be able to deal with the flamethrower tank in 1 or 2 shots. There's lots of stun zone. This is the great use of the flamethrower tank in Wargame European Escalation, is to cause high amounts of stuns, high amounts of morale damage, and really fluster your opponents. In Wargame AirLand Battle, flamethrower tanks become far more significant because they can burn fields and create new borders. And it looks like Random's going to tap out. I know he's tapping out because he's moving his command armor forward. This is what I call the most mannerly way of quitting, is to rush your command vehicles towards the enemy and have them get destroyed, not to sit around and, you know, turtle, because obviously Dirty D has just completely dominated Random. So that ends it right there. Random, not a weak player, 1900 rated. Dirty D, of course, 2100, one of the better players in the game, period. And definitely somebody worth studying, worth looking into as far as tactics. He pulled off a very successful rush against an opponent who was also trying to pull off a rush. My name has been Troublemaker. If you'd like to see more videos, definitely subscribe, like this video. I have Wargame videos coming out every week, and next week, hopefully we have something equally as special that we had this week. Once again, my name is Troublemaker. Hope you have a great week. I'll see you on the ladder.